Hi everyone, welcome to the first session on the product management related concepts or the topics. So the today's session is the session one where we will be discussing about the vision as well as the strategy of the organization, of the company, of the enterprise, right? So based upon the vision and the strategy which is defined at the organization enterprise level, we will do a hands-on activity of how we can define the personas. We'll go through a quick overview of what is a personas and how we can define the personas as well. We'll give you a couple of examples, and based upon that, we will do a hands-on activity. And then the next step is we will go through the customer journey map. Again, this is all coming from the based upon the vision, the strategy, the roadmap which we are planning to implement. Right? We will take a product assuming we are starting fresh the implementation of the product or the solution, and we will try to go through the end-to-end context. The third topic is the release planning, right? So we all know that as a product, as a solution, we'll be doing multiple releases, right? It's not like a one-time big bang release. We are no more doing it, right? So we in the form of agile or continuous releases, continuous implementation, deployment to production, we are doing multiple releases, right? So how we can come up with the release planning strategy, and which functionalities or which features or which stories can be included in the scope for which release. We can just try to do some activity and see how the logical grouping of the release, the scope comes into context from the implementation perspective, right? So these are the four topics which we are planning to cover today. And then the next session, we have the subsequent topics of by taking this as a baseline, how to define a feature, how to prioritize the features using different techniques. There are different techniques which we'll go through it, and how to slice the feature into user stories and take it to the teams, agile teams, and what could be the different types of spikes, technical enablers, or types of enablers. We can do that in the session 2. If in case any additional topics are required, we will try to see based upon the time available for the session 2. We can add that as well. Are you good with the agenda?
Yes, yes.
So if you see, out of 2 hour session plan, almost 1 hour is in the hands-on activities, right? So that's the reason we mentioned make sure to be attentive or make sure to be taking the active participation. Okay, so let's get started. So today's topic, Srinagesha, you want to do the honors of sharing the vision of ride-sharing app?
Sure, Satish. You want me to read this?
Yes, sir. Yes, you can add your points as well.
Okay. So this is very important product to be developed by all of us. Ride sharing app vision. The ride sharing app similar to the Uber, Ola, or Quick Ride. However, we'll be bringing up our own unique factor into it to balance both the customers as well as drivers. One of the state-of-the-art modern app we are planning to design and implement. The ride-sharing app details are to be the best in the industry, should be very quick, and maybe every 1 second we should be able to get a screen onto any device, maybe browser or any iOS and any other Android device. Safe ride-sharing experience to all our customers and also the drivers. So being the best meaning the outstanding quality on-time pickup and should be able to get the screen just like that in a split second on any device and pick up and drop with all safety precautions and care so that we can make every customer and driver during every ride feel safe. So people should be very comfortable using this app just like that. You know, user experience, human-centric design also very important for this. Yeah, Satish.
Thanks, sir. So Srinagesh is our executive sponsor for our ride sharing app. So feel free to ask any questions and bring any of your pointers or any feedback or any suggestions or anything you want to get clarified. Feel free to ask questions so that we will go to the next topic. Are you good with the vision?
Yes, Satish.
Okay.
So one question. So is it more like a pooling app or is it more like an Uber?
It is like a carpooling app as well as Uber, both. As we go to the strategy, we will bring that context.
Okay.
Okay, so we are just trying to club, or we're just trying to consolidate the perspective of Uber, Ola, as well as the Quick Ride. Right, so two different apps. As we know, Quick Ride, I'm not pretty sure how many of you are aware. There is one app to share the ride within the corporate employees. The same way, we are trying to bring both the aspects into one single thing and see how we can get benefit out of it. Okay.
There's one more app running in the market, Satish, like S Ride. You are
S
aware
Ride.
of it, I guess.
Okay. Yeah. Thanks, Ajay. Okay, so the next, as we move ahead in the discussion, the strategy. What is our strategy? Right. The typical format which is commonly used to define the strategies for the customers who would like to, whom we are working for, whom we are focusing for, who want to do something. What is the action or the activity or the thing the customer want to do? The solution or the app or the what are the thing which you are working upon, which you are about to implement, is a thing of how. We will bring the how part first, that providing the business value or the customer satisfaction to the end user perspective, or empathy or understanding their perspectives, everything. Unlike the competitors or the current solution or the thing which is non-existing right now in the available solution, our solution is trying to do something better. The why part will come here. Right. So from that perspective, the strategy for our ride sharing app, which we are defining, is for corporate employees. Right. So we are trying to define the strategy here. It is not, and maybe going ahead, we might revise or realign our strategy, but as a first step, we are trying to bring into the corporate employees, okay, and who are returning back to work post pandemic. That is main important for getting it to the end user perspective, right? The ride sharing app is a safe and secure solution that allows to travel to and fro to office as well as to and fro to airport, because the work from home, work from office is getting started. Even the business travel, business journeys are getting started, right? So there's a reason they're trying to, we as a startup or we as an organization, we are trying to provide this solution to the our customers. And who is our customers? The corporate employees, as a first step, right? Unlike existing apps, our solution allows sharing the personal vehicle, right? So as a quick ride, as I mentioned, if suppose you are going to office, right, you can share your details on the ride sharing app, and you can see who is going the same route and who can accompany you or who can provide a ride, or to the airport or from the airport as well. And how we will be making sure it is safe by taking the corporate registrations or the associating with the corporates tie up directly to ensure safety, and also providing a confirmed cab booking without any cancellations from drivers. If in case there is any personal drivers, I mean, if in case we are not going with the corporate employees and we are trying to do a personal ride, we should ensure there is no cancellations from the driver's perspective. So that is our strategy. What we are assuming or what we are expecting to be acting as a differentiating factor when compared to the other solutions or other apps which are currently in the market. Okay, are you good with the strategy?
Hello.
Hi, Savita. Yes.
யார் வேணும் உங்களுக்கு?
Savita, can you come again?
இல்ல, wrong
No, no, she is talking to somebody else.
Oh, okay. Savita, maybe you can go on mute. Okay. Yeah. So, any questions on the strategy? So, based upon the vision, we defined our strategy. And
Satish, this is Advitya. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
So my first question is like, this is post-pandemic environment, and companies are now preferring mostly the hybrid mode, right?
Hmm.
So how we are going to ensure, like, don't you think there would be some issues on getting employees on the same route, or because everybody would try to come on a different days, right? I mean, it's not everybody would be coming very regular.
Mhm.
So
Yes.
how we are going to tackle this issue?
So let's think what others think about it. The uh, thought point what Aditya brought it. What others feel about it. How we can bring it into our strategy.
So I'll share my views on it. So if people are going down the same route, right? They usually pull out. So no one will like to take a different driver or person every time if they are sharing the same route. I guess this ride sharing app will allow exactly for that purpose. That so not everyone will be going down the same route. So someone will be going on Monday, someone will be going on Wednesdays, right? So it will help different people collaborate, and in fact the scenario that you have given is adding more value to it rather than putting a question mark on it. So that's my take on it.
Okay. Any other thoughts on it?
Maybe initially we are going to build an MVP kind of approach. The base version we are going to release to the market, and then slowly we can build on top of AI ML features so that it can smartly understand the grouping of people following the COVID guidelines and giving some protection. Pick up it will suggest the route of a company people are in this direction, or a group of people are there here. Some kind of intelligence also we can build in over the period of time. But initial MVP kind of model, we will see how robust it is, the user acceptance. Then we can build on all such guidelines future.
Definitely. Thanks, Nagesh.
So we got the blessings from our executive sponsor to extend or expand our scope by bringing AI and ML concepts. So we have a long way to go as a company. Yes. Hi, Jiva. You're about to say something?
Sorry, Satish. I missed to mute it. Yeah, sorry.
Sure. Okay. Thank you. Any questions or any other thoughts on the strategy before going further? Are we good till now? Okay. So this is how this is what happens in the companies or the organizations. When we start with defining the vision and strategy, it might not be done in one single discussion or one single session, right? It might be multiple back and forth conversations with including the product management folks, including the business folks, including the architects as well coming into context, right? So just now Srinagesh mentioned we can bring in the AI ML concepts as well, right? So for that, we need to see what is the technical feasibility. The budget wise, we could be having the budget, right? But the technical feasibility as well, we might have to think about from the architect's perspective. So everyone whoever has a say, who will be involved in this vision as well as strategy discussions. And once it is discussed back and forth and once it is finalized, that's when it will be defined, finalized, and it will be announced publicly to everyone outside. Okay. Someone raise your hand. Aparupa, you can note down.
Yeah, I'm here. I'm just adding one point. Like you can offer free rides to someone. Like you can offer one of two free rides, so he can experience and they can just continue that, because the safety is the must. If he feels comfortable, he or she, whatever. So at least if you are going for a demo or you are just offering a ride to someone, so at least you can offer a one or two or three free rides so they can experience it, how this will feel like. This is I want to add on. Yeah.
Sure. Thanks, Apurva, for bringing the point. Or maybe as a opening launching process, we can bring in like a register using your corporate address and get 2 rides free. Right? Maybe we can think on that lines and see, so that, or we can bring in some demo videos or sessions, how maybe awareness sessions at the corporates, or doing a WebEx online sessions and sharing the recordings with the employees, with the corporates as well, to get the feel for them, not only for the employees, for the corporates, for the companies as well, to see how we are ensuring the safety, or how we are ensuring the safety of both the drivers as well as the passengers, or because here the driver some cases could be the employee as well, right? So the safety of both the drivers as well as passengers, how we are trying to ensure, how we can say showcase that. Definitely, thanks for bringing that point up over. We can focus on that as well. Yes, Kirti raised a hand. Kirti
Yeah, hey,
Ashwin.
good evening, Satish. So I have a quick question. So I understand that the problem statement and the goal is basically the foundation of the entire work, right? As in, like,
Yes.
this has got multiple purpose. One, we need to bring all. I mean, we need to convince all the stakeholders that this goal is promising and it is going to add value to the organization. And two, it also needs to convince the sponsors for this business idea so that it will take off, right? So
Yes, that's true.
and when I look at the statement, right, there are multiple attributes that we are kind of addressing, right? And on a practical scenario, when I look at it, right, I can for any kind of a problem, I can come up with like using a bit of creativity, I can list a lot of attributes. But how do I basically finalize on this is going to be the combination that like this is going to be the value proposition that I'm going to give to the customer, so that I will be able to take value out of it. I mean, if it is really beyond the scope of our session, maybe we could take it offline. But yeah, if it is really something that that is going to be a value add for our session, I think I would really like to listen to your views on this, Satish.
Sure. So a quick point, or a quick answer to that is like, see, anytime the moment we are trying to come up to the strategy or the vision, defining the vision and strategy means we might have already gone through that, the initial discussions with the executives, the sponsors, the investors, and the architects. What is the feasibility? Is it really required for us to work on this solution, whatever it is, right? So how it could be benefiting, how it can be bringing the value. Again, value is not just a profits or the budgets perspective, right? The providing the satisfaction, providing the benefit to the customers and users, or in our context, even the including the corporates as well, right? So all that thought process, all that discussion should be happening in different forums, different contexts with the different stakeholders. And only when we feel that, yes, this could be beneficial, or this could, maybe we might want to give a try and see how it works. Right. So that's the reason we are trying to address a small scope of audience. We are not targeting for everyone. We are first targeting only the corporate employees to start with. Right? So like that, we can try to bring in different flavors, different versions, different perspectives, and see how it could be helpful from the overall implementation, as both for the organization, for us as well, plus to the customers and users who will be making use of our solution or the product as well.
Got it. Yeah, thank you, Satish.
Sure. Sure, I could see people don't like ride share that with other, because of COVID, we are also Ola, Uber, stop ride sharing. Yes, that's the reason we are trying to state that safe and secure solution. That's what is our responsibility, to showcase that we are focused, we are dedicated for providing that safe and secure solution. How it is up to us, how we need to come up with that part. Okay. I could see one more hand raised. Rahul?
Yes, Satish. So I want to give one suggestion that to bring the more and more corporate customers, we can also use that is refer to your colleagues. So with that, we can bring more and more corporate customer, and we can offer that if you refer your colleague and if you register on the app, we can provide one free ride to you as well as to your colleague. So that will be
Sure.
beneficial to bring the more corporate customers for this app.
Sure.
That's
Yes,
the
that's
reason.
that's a nice idea to refer your colleagues, refer your friends as well, and get a free ride for both your friend and for you as well. Yes, definitely that will be bringing some value add, and that we can include as part of the deals or the strategy of how we can grab more customer base. Yes. Thanks, Rahul.
Yeah. Thanks, Satish.
Anyone else? Any other points you want to discuss?
I'd like to add one more thing here, Satish.
Yes, Shipra.
Usually what happens is, the wish list will keep on going, right? So there will be lots and lots of ideas, and everyone will have their own ideas, right? So no idea is bad idea, but we have to ensure that we stay focused, and
Yes.
we move everything
Correct.
else to backlog. And that's why this strategy or the vision statement comes into picture, because it helps us keep focused, right? So whenever someone gives an idea, we'll just match it up with the vision statement and see that whether it fulfills the vision or not. If not, let's move it to backlog and we'll consider it later.
Yes, that's true. So the whole focus for current conversation is how we can give the benefit to corporate employees, right? So that is the overall vision, or overall vision is a bigger picture, but now we are talking about the strategy as a first step to launch our product or the solution. The focus or the initial focus is for the corporate employees, right? So as that is what our focus should be any point of time once we start the next activities or the next topics, right? So now that we understood the vision as well as strategy, let's go to the next topics. Are we good till now?
So Satish, is there a difference between vision and strategy?
Vision, yes, vision typically we will be sharing with outside everyone. It is both internal as well as external as well. Strategy, most of the cases we will keep it ourselves to internal within the company, right? So within the company we will share. See, we don't want to share our business logic, or we don't want to share how we want to grab the customers or how we want to focus, because what if the some of the competitor take it as a base and start working on it, right? Vision is an open public statement which will be announcing both internal as well as everyone publicly, whereas a strategy most of the cases remains internal, right? So we as a product management group, we are going through the strategy to see how we can bring in the differentiating factor, how we can help achieve our vision as a company. Okay. Ways to stop with better solutions so that we can move on to next step, as better ideas will keep coming and customer will be demanding. Yes, that's correct. Right. Thanks for the point. Okay, so let's move on. So from now onwards, the vision and strategy, we are assuming, like me, Srinagesh, we had a conversation among ourselves as executive sponsors. We brought up, we defined ourselves, and now we are bringing that as a context to you guys. So we will start with defining the personas, right? So what is a persona? So the persona is like a fictional character which represents the actual end user who might use our product or the solution. Right? So that is the context of the persona. Oh, the persona should convey the problems which the actual end user could be facing, and what could be the key triggers for the customers to use our product. Right? It should capture, or it should include the high level information and no need of any granular minute details of each and everything as such. So the example which I shared earlier as well, for the online shopping app, I defined two personas. One is Rose, the consumer, and John, the warehouse manager. We can define the other personas as like a delivery guy, or the other executives as well. But assuming the user interviews or the feedback inputs from the end user's perspective is captured, how that personas might look like is what is the persona name, what is the key attributes of the persona, and what is the aspects, what the problem statement the actual customers could be facing, and what is that could be the trigger point for them to use our product, to use our solution, right? So just now in the chat, one of you mentioned that hey, because of the COVID fear, most of the people stop using Ola or Uber. At this point of time, we are trying to launch an app into the product or the solution into the market. So how we can differentiate, right? So how, obviously that should be included as a in the personas, right? See, the Rose as a consumer, she's worried about the rains of Mumbai, which might delay her order delivery. Yes, it is a problem statement that should be going into the persona as well, right? So why or how the persona will help us is, as we go into the next session, when we start defining the features, we'll get more clarity. But as a product management folks, we will get to know the context, the in and out of the end users, the customers. But when we start talking to our teams, right? So when we start defining the features, we will state that, hey, this feature or this functionality is from the Rose consumer perspective, or this functionality or this feature, the scope is from the John, the main warehouse manager perspective. That way, the moment we brought in this persona or the user and user into context, they will start connecting the dots, right? Now let's assume we define a user story, we define a feature, like as Rose, I would like to receive my order on time or as per the scheduled time. What is that when we are saying as Rose? All these aspects or all these perspectives or roles are indirectly we are bringing that context into the teams, right? So we no need to repeat each and everything, no need to remind the team, no need to remind the team members who are actually working on implementation, right? So it is our responsibility as a product management folks to make them understand the end user perspective, the context clearly, and then they will be able to do the effective implementation. Okay. So the same way, John, the warehouse manager, again, his focus is on taking the warehouse or the delivery of the order of the customers, tracking the items available in the warehouse, the number of orders, and he want to know whether the order is received from COVID-19 containment zone, like that. So it is from the online shopping app as an example, as a reference, right? Now we will start doing the hands-on activity. So what is that? The hands-on activity. We will split into 3 teams. So we have like how many? 29 participants. Yes, we'll split into 3 teams using the Zoom breakout option. Each team will come up with one person. Okay. So we define the persona names. Bob, the cab driver. Right. If in case the person, the passenger or the customers want to go ahead with the cab driver rather than a the corporate employee, right? So then they have the option to choose the cab driver option as well. So what could be the context of Bob if in case he's a cab driver? The room 1 or the group 1 will be defining the persona for that. The second group or second room will be talking about Rose as a passenger. As a passenger, the Rose could be choosing either the cab driver or the personal vehicle owner, who could be a corporate employee. Right. So what could be the thought process? What could be the problem statements? What could be the context of Rose from the passenger perspective? We will define the room 2 or the group 2 will define that. Then John, the personal vehicle owner. I am John. Let's assume I'm representing John. I have a personal vehicle which I'm using to go to office. Now, even I have a fear that, hey, what if I am taking all the safety precautions, but what if the passenger or the co-passenger who will be sharing a ride with me, what if I got COVID from them? Or what if whether they are taking the care precautions of the COVID or right? Even the personal vehicle owner also has their own issues, their own challenges, their own perspectives, right? So these are the 3 personas which will be defining it. So Sneha, I just now mentioned the 3 personas, right? So as we do split you into the rooms or the groups, you will get to know which persona you will be working with, right? So we will split this, divide into 3 rooms. So each room will be discussing their own persona. Okay. So take reference pointers from the team in the sense your own participants within your group. Discuss and identify what could be the expectations or what could be the unique factors which you want to bring from the personal context. Okay, so it is not 30 minutes. Is 20 minutes okay, sufficient? What do you guys think?
Yes, Satish.
Okay, so let me share the Zoom, sorry, the can you quickly check whether you have the access for this Google Drive link or not. So within the group, within the Excel sheet, I created different sheets for each persona. Right. The first sheet is the Bob, the cab driver. The second sheet is for the Rose, the passenger. Third sheet is for the John, personal vehicle owner. So we will do till there. The 3 rooms, 3 groups will discuss about 3 personas. Make sure to remain within your persona, you discuss with your group and have the conversation. Once we are done, each group will present their persona. One of you can discuss and share the persona, what is that the conversation went and how you define the persona, and we will go to the next topic. Okay, are you good? Any questions before we start the breakout? Okay.
Yes, Satish, Jiva here.
Yes, Jiva.
Sorry, the expectation at the last line you mentioned, right? You come up with the personas, but we know the personas, right? We are saying room 1 is Bob, I mean, cab driver.
Yes.
But I'm not getting like 1 is a car owner, right? It's a car sharing app. So 1 is a car owner. How is driver connected here?
No, you the personal vehicle owner is like you are having a vehicle.
Okay.
You want to go to a you are going to a company. I mean your own company, right?
Okay.
So you would like to share with other colleagues.
All right. All right.
So that is the John's context. Bob, the driver or the cab driver, is the passenger. Rose, the passenger is. Let's suppose like the passenger is not getting any colleagues.
Okay.
Right. So she want to go for a airport ride, or she want to go in a different time.
Okay.
When she is not finding a slot with the personal vehicles or with the corporate colleagues, then she could be still opting for a driver, cab driver as well.
Okay, like a hire taxi.
Yes, like Ola or Uber, right? So we're trying to bring that context as well.
All right, and from each room, they should come. I mean, as a cab driver, I have to pull out the points. If
Yes.
Suppose I am in part of room 1, correct?
Yes, yes, that's correct.
We have to bring in scenarios, right?
Yes, the pointers like how we discussed, how we defined
the previous template
slides, right? Like that, right? So whatever is relevant from that personal perspective, we can bring in that. It could be related to payment, it could be related to safety, it could be related to security, it could be related to any aspect as well.
All right, this is clear. Okay. Yeah, thank you.
Okay, any other questions? Are you good?
Hi Satish, Vineet here. Just one clarification I just wanted to make. Yeah. So for this cab driver, right? So currently we are focusing for the corporate employees. So cab driver can give right to non-corporate employee or
corporate employees. This is again for the corporate employees.
Only the corporate employees.
Yes. The reason is, let's suppose we want to go for a let's suppose I'm Rose, I'm Rose, the passenger, right? So I have a business trip. My flight is at 9 o'clock. Right? I need to get the cab without any cancellation. Or if I'm going to office, I have an important meeting to join at 9 o'clock. I can't sit and wait whether the driver will pick up, whether the driver will be asking, hey, is it a cash? Is it a, where is the drop? Asking all the details they are dropping off, most of the cases, right? So I don't want that. The moment I book it, I want a confirmed booking and I want the driver to come and pick up. Right? Yeah. So if required, maybe the passenger has an option to choose between the cab driver as well as the personal vehicle owner. Right?
Okay. So I just wanted to understand, like in one cab, there can be, if there are two passengers, one can be corporate, one can be non-corporate person.
We are not providing that option right now.
So only corporate people will.
Yes, only the corporate for the time being.
Okay. Got it.
Okay.
Thanks. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, guys, let's go ahead. Let's get started and see. Again, nothing to worry. We will discuss and again we will come back. We might get some clarifications as well. Let's get started. You want to share the document you prepared?
Yes, I want to do that. You have 1 second.
Yes, yes, sure.
Yeah. Somebody from the team can start?
Yeah, I can start. Is it okay?
Yeah.
Yeah. So Satish, as we discussed, we are trying to jot down. This is just a rough work what we have done. We couldn't go to the Excel sheet and update it. So as we discussed, the expectation is to provide the expectation. If I am a cab driver, what are the expectations, right? In order to take up a ride or in order to give a ride to the corporate employees. So while registering a driver or myself, if I am a cab driver, I would expect these things to be under the registration form, apart from the key identifier. So basically key identifier in the sense, who I am, what is my Aadhaar ID, all those things, date of birth, whether I'm vaccinated or not, etc. will be taken care as key identifier. I mean, those are the key information of the cab driver. Apart from that, what are my expectation in the registration form is the route. So from which route to which route I am flexible. So am I okay to go from the south of Bangalore to north of Bangalore? That is one of the expectation or one of the criteria which I would like to see. Am I flexible in this area to ride? So I can choose whether it is less traffic, fast traffic, etc. So it depends. A person who is very much localized will know which area has more traffic, which area doesn't have, and what is the time, all those criteria, basically checkpoints kind of. So the second is the flexible working hours. So I had this one question, whether this is a corporate employee who wants to become kind of a rider to other corporate employees. That was
that is
my
a
assumption.
third persona. There is a third persona. This is like a cab driver.
Okay, so irrespective of that, if I am a cab driver and let's say if I am working so in other job and I would like to have just a part-time kind of a thing. So what is my flexible working hours, whether it is morning, afternoon and evening? So these are the pointers which we discussed, and also the payment mode. So nowadays UPI is on high ways. So whether it is UPI, cash, debit or credit card, whether am I okay to choose these options in the app? So these are the expectations, kind of expectations we would like to have when I am registering as a driver. The next most concerning is the waiting time. So let's say I get into I get into the ride and I wait for the person to ride in, but unfortunately they don't turn up. So what is the waiting time? How do we bill if we have already reached the ride? That is one. The cancellation process. So after a certain time when I can cancel, and if the employee or if the rider cancels, what would be the process or procedure that needs to be kind of outlined very clearly. And then the vehicle maintenance. So what I mean, how frequently a check would be done on the vehicle maintenance part, so that I am very well prepared as a rider. So that one. Toll
And
charges.
one second, in the vehicle maintenance, like also like every day he's riding, the petrol charges for that. So how will he be reimbursed for the petrol charges? So that one we couldn't add, but that was what we discussed.
Yeah, correct. So whether the amount that is taking for the ride will include the petrol charges, or will he be getting that amount every month based on the kilometers he has driven? So whatever, however you want to take it as. So the vehicle maintenance, yes. Is there any inspection conducted every bi-weekly or monthly or quarterly, so that a rider can very well maintain the vehicle? The toll charges, obviously, if he is going from one city to the other state altogether, so how the toll charges will be taken care. The passenger rating, so basically before selecting or before selecting yes or no, displaying the passenger rating might build up a confidence of a driver, so that they can go ahead and take the ride. So these are the pointers which we believe as an expectation of our driver who is riding the vehicle. So feel free to add anything which I have missed, or any of the team.
Again,
Yeah,
this is
I'm
a
asking
rough...
my team if anything is missed.
Yes. This is a rough high-level pointer, right? So we just spent 20 minutes within which you are able to come up with these many points. So the typical personal discussion will happen multiple times back and forth and multiple hours sometimes, right? So then just assume how much effective we can bring in the full-fledged person as well, right? So just to add from my perspective, some of the pointers is like along with the passenger rating, maybe we can share the passenger vaccination status as well. And then we can, one thing just now I forgot, the settlement of the payment, right? So let's assume the most common problem statement which we hear why Ola or Uber drivers cancel is they will get the payment once a week for the rides they drive, right? So they don't want to wait until a week to get the payment settled. Maybe that is one of the problem statement which we might want to address as well.
That is the reason we didn't want that to happen. We opted for debit, credit card, UPI, or this thing, not the app related payment services.
Okay, thank you. Thanks for that. Okay, thanks, group one. Any other points you want to share? Or let's go ahead to group two.
Yeah, hi, this is Advitya, and I'll be sharing my screen. Okay, once she stops sharing, I can share.
Yes, Savita, can or Pari?
That was me. I stopped.
Sure. Yeah, thank you.
Okay. So we have jotted down on a paper, but I can share some images. I've just
sure.
Like that. So where are my images? Just a moment.
So we are following True Agile. We are not following the process or tools. We are giving importance to individuals and interactions.
Okay. I'm just seeing where is my files. Why cannot see my images for sharing?
No, yeah, you can just bring the pointers.
Okay. I'll just start saying maybe. So we have opted as Rose as she's the passenger, and the basic assumption we have taken at like she's already registered with a valid ID, and she knows about driver as well. He's registered, and they're having no criminal records. I mean, it's police verification and sort of things. So the basic details about Rose is she's a female, 32 years, married. She works for a corporate and she goes for 9 to 5 shift. She stays in Bangalore, where distance is measured by time, not kilometers. And she stayed approximately 15 kilometers from the place of residence and the workplace is something around 15 kilometers. So now addressing the concerns, she's got a lot of concerns, by the way. So the first concern is fare and the payment mode. I mean, so if the fare falls into her range, or I mean, it's suiting her not, and what would be the payment mode, like UPI, debit card, credit card. And the second most important concern is safety with the driver or other co-passengers, and maybe a declaration from co-passengers and driver, maybe like they are not suffering from any communicable diseases, health declaration sort of thing. And if she get an options to travel with a particular set of people, like means people have got some preferences, right, to travel with someone. So if she can travel with some of his own group, maybe so they can chit chat and all. And then I know there is this strategy and vision has a no cancellation feature, but there are definitely fail cases. Maybe there could be a last moment dropout. So how quick, what would be the turnaround time for a next available ride from a driver or maybe corporate employees? And she should be how quickly she's informed over the app. And what would be the surge in that case? I mean, so if she's getting, or she will be compensated, like since there was a dropout, so that could be a particular case. And what let's say she's having some issues at the workplace and she has to stay back. So how earlier she has to confirm that she won't be able to make through this ride. And the next point is around sanitization and cleanliness. I mean, so how clean or how well the sanitizes the vehicle, and yeah. And if she can have the co-passengers detail with a signing like non-disclosure, and they're not sharing the details, personal numbers and all with each other.
Yes, and that's important.
Yeah. And what would happen if a vehicle is breaking down during mid-travel? Like, let's say if a vehicle breaks down during a mid-travel, what would happen? Then again, the turnaround time would apply. I mean, something sort of similar, like some corporate employee would be picking up, or a driver would be picking up. And how the route is being tracked, the route which is being followed is being tracked, and how well it is optimized. And again, past records of driver in case traveling with driver or with a co-worker. And again, India, I've already mentioned. If she is having a regular travels, like she completes let's say 30th ride or 50th ride, 100 ride, she's getting some rewards or some benefits out of it. And like there should be concern from sign from every passengers, like they cannot make wait, the drivers or people cannot make them wait more than 5 minutes. Like there had been cases like people keep on waiting and other people are getting cranky about it. So, and let's say there is, since the hybrid work culture is coming into picture, let's say I'm working on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, other is working on some few days, there are few days of overlap. So how early we are communicating it to her that, or like today weekly plans or something, like today I'll be traveling with, let's say, person A and person to B, or like that. So that's from our side. And
Thanks.
Really
Thanks
thank my group for putting out so many points.
Nice interaction and discussion. I was joined a couple of times each group. Yes. Thanks, everyone.
Yeah. Hi, Satish. Sorry, Advaita. I just remembered one more point. I mean, which I forgot to mention in the group. So, how would, as pros, how would I get notified that the driver has actually arrived to my spot?
Okay.
So, I think that's one point that we could add.
Okay, sure. Yeah, thank you.
One more point from the Rose point of view. So basically, is it okay to book a ride along with me to the other person also? Let's say a family member is traveling on the same route. Is it okay for me to book? Does the app allows me to choose number of passengers? Basically.
But Savita, this is basically a corporate rider app, right? So
Yeah,
Under
but
otherwise,
in case if my family member is also traveling along the same side, same
Or Kirti, maybe
state,
like two colleagues are staying together, and if they want to travel together.
yeah, kind
Maybe.
of a PG system as well.
Hmm.
Yeah. So,
got it. Okay, okay.
Yeah, yes, yeah, we can. Yeah, that is another good point. Yes, let's think about that as well. Yes, group 3. Let's quickly go through. It's already 10:20. You're still in the first activity. Yes, group 3.
Yeah, let me show my screen. So here are the points we have added in this shared sheet. So as a John, who is personal vehicle owner, right? First requirement from my end is I should be able to see all the available passengers on my route who are also traveling at the same time, which I have planned.
Okay.
Okay. And the second expectation is I should be able to join as passenger as well as driver whenever I want. So someday I don't want to drive, right? So I can opt for as a passenger. Then third one is I should be able to see passenger is vaccinated or not. So we have the details also in the next table, right? So what is the date of vaccination, how many number of doses that passenger has taken. So all those details will be available in the application. Then the next is I should be able to decide on passengers for ride. So out of 10, I can decide these two I want to go for with. Then next is prices. So fare charges should be fixed and auto populated. So I will not be doing maths and adding the charges. So it should be auto calculated from the application. And next is payment should be automated once passenger drops, so that I'm not worried about the payment. So it should be automated payment. So once ride is confirmed, that amount should be blocked, and once ride is over, amount should get debited from the passenger.
Okay.
That I am headache free from the payment side. Then the next thing is flexibility to schedule the ride. So I can schedule for my planned date as well as I can reschedule as well as cancel. So that flexibility should be also available for me. Yeah.
Okay.
So this is the point we could just brainstorm. If anything, anybody also want to add, please feel free.
Thanks. Group 3, all the groups. Thanks, everyone. So how is the discussion?
Yeah, there were a lot of ideas. And it was just quite a 20-minute discussion, but there were a lot of things people were sharing and we were coming up new ideas.
Yes. So the actual personas discussion, right? It might not be freezed or finalized in one single discussion. It might have some back and forth, or we might do a couple of rounds of finalizing the discussions, or sometimes might even scrap a whole persona, or we might bring in different persona altogether, right? So from the implementation perspective. So just to add on a couple of pointers regarding personas, there is no fixed number how many personas we would like to define. Right. Most of the cases, the most common is like minimum is 2, maximum it is up to the company, but we don't want to have too many personas at the same time to complicate the implementation. Right. So here the 3 main end users which we are targeting is the passenger, as well as the cab driver, as well as the personal vehicle owner. These are the key driving factors for our solution, for our application. That's the reason we define them as the personas. Right. So the other customers or other roles could be coming into context, like the support folks who is providing the support to any issues, any challenges, anything as such, or maybe the registration with the rights or anything. We haven't discussed, or we don't need to go in detail as such from the persona's perspective. Right. So that will come from the implementation, the next steps as we go into the customer journey map or the release planning, the features or the perspective. Okay. Yeah. Yes, Savita.
Satish, I had one question. So whenever I think about personas, I think from the customer point of view, but not from the all users point of view.
Yes.
Because since it's a new app, we are considering all the new users also as personas? I mean,
No,
the person
the
who is
persona,
using the app
persona,
also personas.
yeah, the persona is like whoever would be making use of our solution.
Okay.
Right. So here the cab driver is also a persona. Without having a cab driver, if we just have only the passengers, it's of no use. We can't go ahead.
But what I feel is, I mean, it's my understanding. Maybe I'm based on the books is what I'm trying to tell you. Whatever I have read. So personas are always a I mean, yes, of course, a survey is conducted to ensure that we derive kind of a class interval to determine what kind of people would be using the app.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Right. So
That's correct.
basically, I feel like it's all about the end user. But when it comes to the person who is using the app, not using the actually using for their job purpose, that is something that company will take a step and say that these are the people whom I really need in order to get into the app for the job purpose. So when it comes to end user, it's like, again, these are the people who are paying us the money. So basically in that context, so the class interval will be provided so that we can give that services to that particular person based on their convenience. So let me know,
Yes.
where am I missing, or is it something that, I mean,
Sure.
based on your
So
experience?
here, yes. So here, the employees are the ones who we are all the employees of the ride sharing app. Because like, for example, right? So we are all working to bring in the implementation into context. Whereas the cab drivers or the vehicle owners, they're not the employees. They're also the end users who could be or who would be using our solution once we implement it. Right. So even their perspectives also needs to be considered. Right. That's the reason we brought up these three personas from the implementation perspective.
So, Satish, it's so like cab driver personas is like whether he's okay to work full time, part time, or
yes, it is
the
up to
days,
him, right? So
right?
that's what your discussion in your group you defined it. Hey, I would like to choose which time I would like to work, or the route, or the payment mode. Everything your group. That's what your point is. That is what the perspectives from the cab driver perspective. We are not forcing the cab drivers in this context. Hey, by hook or crook, you need to go and serve this ride. Right? So we are considering their perspectives of their problems, their pain points as well, to see how we can bring an effective solution from everyone. Everyone should be satisfied. Everyone should be getting a benefit out of it. That's the context.
Okay, got it.
Okay. Yeah. Yes. Nice. Kirti?
Yeah, hey Satish, I just had a quick question. So you had mentioned that ideally there would be a limited set of personas with respect to a business problem, right? So my question is, like, considering the use case that we are trying to address, right? And I had been working on the passenger persona, right? So somewhere in the middle, what I realized was it would not be advisable to do that. Say, for example, if Rose can be a working woman who is working on 9 to 5 shift, and she could also be I can also consider Rose as another person who is working on night shifts. So their needs are basically different, correct?
Yes.
So
Yes. Got your point.
So it's always advisable to and like kind of enlist as much persona as possible so that we will kind of understand what are all the critical features that need to go into the app, isn't it, Satish?
Yes, that's for the current discussion. We just defined one persona from the passenger perspective. So what typically happens, right? Who could we will be again, as I mentioned, this is just for our discussion perspective. We defined it, but ideally, what happens, right? So we will be capturing the user inputs by submitting a form. If you remember, like I sent a Google form for the group and asked to fill in, right? The same way we
Right.
can capture the end user's perspective, and we can see, now let's suppose the passenger's scope is like majority of our passengers are saying that, hey, I would like to go, majority of the passengers whom we capture the information is working in 9 to 5. Then that is what we focus. That is what we target as a first step, right? Or the passengers could be saying, hey, daytime I'm comfortable, I'm on my own, I can even take a public transport, but the night time or the weekend shifts is where I need the safe, secure transport. Then we will rewrite or we will bring that as a context to the persona.
Got it, Satish. So, but ideally, what should be the workflows? Now, we are. I'm just trying to connect three different dots here, right? One, vision strategy, right? Two is the persona, and three is the market research that we are doing, right? So, all the three are kind of interconnected. Say, for example,
yes.
Only when I do the market research, I will understand what is the vision that I need to capture, and then I will understand who would be the persona, right?
Yes.
Also,
yes,
only when I'm clear with the vision, I can ask right questions in the questionnaire, and I can select a persona. And
That's
again,
correct.
only when I select, understand the persona, I mean, so it's kind of a triangle, right? So what is the basic workflow that I need to follow? Should I set the vision first and then go to market research and then decide a persona? What would be the ideal workflow that I need to follow?
Both might go hand in hand as well, right? So the base for our vision as well could be coming from this user interface itself, right? So first of all, whether to implement, whether to bring this idea itself, whether if in case we see whether we want to implement this solution itself, right? We need to have that context from the end user perspective.
Right.
We need to know how many passengers, how many employees is actually going to office, right? How many could be ready to use our solution if in case we provide it. All those concepts we will be capturing in some or other form, either in the user interviews or some surveys or questionnaires. That will be acting as an input guiding factor for all this vision, strategy, the personas, everything.
Got it, Satish. Okay,
Right?
okay.
So
cool.
let's suppose passengers, when we do the user interviews, the customer could be saying, hey, I'm good for now because my company is providing the company transport. Then we don't even work on this app or the solution. No need of that, bringing a overall a new brand new app itself, right? That is already, let's assume the companies are saying, hey, before pre-COVID, we don't have any transport service, but now for the safety of the employees, we as a companies itself, they start providing the home drop and pickup or the safe and secure rides. Then for us, no need to work on this app itself.
Correct.
Right. So that
makes sense.
That user survey, the analysis, research, all that will be acting as an input for all these steps. The vision, strategy, the personas and customer journeys, everything.
Got it, Satish. Okay, cool. Yeah,
I
thanks.
have one more point to add to Satish.
Yes, sir.
Satish, please pitch in if I am wrong or it deviates your I mean the way I look at it. So any business case or any kind of a new app creation starts only if there is a problem. So the problem determines, so when you face a problem, automatically you know who and all are facing the problem. So you will have a rough idea of it. So basically determining the personas and through market research is just kind of embedding what is the problem, kind of creating a data around it so that we are sure whatever we are seeing is what we believe. So basically it's kind of a guider to the main business case, whatever you prepare or strategy, what you prepare. So that's what I believe. Let me know if I deviate from your thoughts.
That's exactly the explanations of that. Thanks for that. Thanks for adding it. Right. So again, why we are working on these personas, why we are explicitly defining when we have the vision strategy, which is already shared with everyone working in the organization, right? So by looking at the strategy or the vision statement, is it clear? Is it specifically defined? What is the problem statement? What is the things which the customers could be facing, which the customers could be expecting? But when we go to the personas, right? So we all had a discussion. We all defined the pointers and we brought it. So these personas will be shared with the teams who will be actually working on the implementation of the solution, right? So these defining these personas will be giving a more clarity or more clear context to the team members who are actually working on the implementation. Okay. Yeah. Shipra, you have a point?
Yes, Satish. I have a question here. So, while we were working on the personas, so Rose, the passenger may have a different need, which may contradict with the need of John, the personal vehicle owner, right? So, for
Yes.
John, we specified that the payments should be blocked and made upfront. So, Rose may not like it. So, how should we resolve such contradictions, such conflicts?
If that is the situation, we again, as we are discussing, once we discussed with the personal, right? So we should come back and see what could be the best optimal solution for both the roles, right? So how we can do the justification or how we can try to give benefit for both the persons, both the roles. Maybe the personal vehicle owner want to block the payment. So is it something which we can do from our side, like blocking the amount from our side and see the amount will be deducted from the rows perspective as soon as the trip is completed? What is that our solution? What is that we can try to avoid that conflict, or how we can try to resolve that situation? And we should see what are the possibilities, or how we can try to overcome that, or how we can try to resolve that.
So as I understand it, the process will be that first we will, take one persona and define him or her.
Yes.
Then we'll take another persona, then we'll define him or her, and then in the later on, then we'll match up the expectations and match up the personas and see if they are aligned with each other, right?
So some cases it will be the entirely contradictory persona altogether coming into context. Sometimes it might be like a matching as well, right? So we can't expect like each and every point will be matched, right? So luckily in our discussion, some pointers matched between three personas, whereas some points have contradiction, right? So matching points, nothing to worry. We can go ahead and get the implementation for that features or the functionalities. But the discussion should happen where the contradiction happens, right? The example, the payment, just now you mentioned, or the Bob, the cab driver wants to work only in morning shift. He don't want to work in the evening shift. If that is the case, how we can provide the ride for Rose, the passenger, for the evening? Right? Mornings we are able to provide, but evening while coming back from office, how we can provide the ride, safe and secure ride to the Rose? So we need to start discussing. We need to start seeing how we can. What is that we are missing? What is it we can address? And how do we want to revise any strategy, or do we want to readjust our goal or vision, whatever it is? We need to discuss that as a next step.
So while we are defining the personas, we are identifying the needs of these personas.
Yes, yes. The needs or the expectations.
Are we also figuring out the functionalities that our application should provide at this stage, or
the next step? Next step will come. We're trying to identify the needs of to satisfy the persona's context. Now the next step is like, what is the functionality is required to meet that expectations from the implementation perspective.
Okay. And when do we define the pains and gains of the?
Sorry, when do we define that?
We also identify, we also do this empathy mapping, right?
Yes.
Identify the pains and gains.
Yeah, empathy map also goes more or less hand in hand with the persona's perspective, right? So personas is like we will be defining the template which I just shared in the Excel, right? The empathy map, we will be asking the user that 7 set of questions. What is that you are expecting? Where are you currently in the solution perspective? And what is that you are feeling? What is your problem statement? Like that, we will be going through the 7 set of questions. What's happening is not everyone is ready to share the pointers if we are going to the empathy map, the end user perspective. Rather, they are easily able to share their feelings or share their pointers when we submit in the form of a questionnaire.
Right.
Right. So that's why it could be easy. There are personas, empathy maps. These are all like different perspectives to understand the end user perspective.
Okay.
Right? So we can use either personas or empathy maps or both. It's up to us.
Okay, so there's no fix, iteration.
Nothing.
That
No
empathy will
fixed
come
thing as
first.
such.
Okay, got it.
Okay. Guys, 10:40. Wow. The time is flying like anything. Okay. So the next thing, I'm not sure how much we can complete the discussion, but let's see. The customer journey map. So now we had discussed or we had defined, identified what is the end user expectation, what is the end user's perspectives, what is the pain points the end users could be facing, right? The customer journey map will be giving a different perspective as such, right? So the customer journey map reflects the end-to-end steps which a typical customer, again, here the customer in our context, like 3 roles we are taking, right? The cab driver, the passenger, as well as the personal vehicle driver. So what could be the typical end user end-to-end steps the end user could be taking, starting from log into the app till closing the ride or till completing the ride in our context, right? And what could be the problems they could be facing, they are facing or they could be facing in that specific step, right? While booking the cab or while getting the ride confirmation or while doing the payment or while during the travel, it could be anything, right? So what each and every step they will be going through the journey of using our solution, and what could be we as of now we are planning to provide as a solution versus what is the improvement, what is the opportunities for us which we can help us improve our solution in the next future versions, or maybe in the current version itself, because we are still in the discovery phase of the application. We haven't started implementation in, right? So maybe if you want to revise our scope, if you want to improve the implementation, yes, this opportunity details will help us in improving our functionality as well. Okay, so the 2 online shopping app personas are taking the roles consumer and John warehouse manager. Again, I just listed down the one of the customer journey map. This is the online shopping cart example, right? So the deciding that they would like to place an order, adding the items to the cart, placing the order, then doing the payment, then receiving the order and getting that return or replace and the complete, right? So these are the steps and what the customer or the end user would be doing at that specific step or that specific phase or the stage, and what could be the customer thinking and feeling at that specific step. What's the pause? Coming, you want to go on mute? Okay. So what is the positive feeling for them by using our solution, or what could be the neutral? It is not positive or negative. Yes, it is a neutral thing. Or what could be the negative aspects for them at that specific stage or phase, right? So these are the 3 things we will include, we will mention. And then the ride sharing app in our context now, what is that we are trying to provide for that specific phase as a solution versus what is the opportunities available for us to improve, right? So in this context, repeating order or placing the order from the similar products, or allowing UPI payment during cash on delivery, or for the delivery, same day delivery, quick delivery, single delivery, repeated item delivery, or allowing a simple one-click return or replace. So that could be the improvements which we might have not thought or which we might have not included or not considered in the current solution, current context. So what could be the opportunities we might identify, we might feel that we can include or we can improve the customer satisfaction or give the value to the customers. That is what we include in the customer journey map. Okay. So we have again planned a hands-on activity to bring in the three contexts of the customers, whether we want to do it as a breakout activity or whether we want to do it right now here itself in the main session. It's up to you. We can take one, maybe the passenger, rows the passenger and see how the customer journey map comes.
Yes, Satish, I think in interest of time, let's do it.
Yes, so let's quickly do that. Okay, let me share my screen, or someone want to go ahead and do that. Okay, so the rose journey map. So what is that? The things, registration or login. Okay, then
Finding available right.
Finding available rights. Okay. Next, confirm the right. Payment. Finish the right. Right. Anything else?
Adding to the favorites. Something like that.
Adding to favorites, that comes in the functionality. Okay. We can include that in the finding the rights.
Feedback, yeah.
Yeah, the feedback or comments. Yes.
Finish the ride should be before payment.
Okay. Finish the ride and payment. Okay. Feedback and comments. Okay. Anything else? Okay.
Complaint.
What could be the positive things for the rows as a registration or the login perspective?
Getting a free ride.
Yes.
Sharing right for safety.
Getting a free ride.
Canceling.
Assurance that cab is vaccinated. Cab is
Yes.
taken care.
That might come
driver
in
is
the
vaccinated.
finding available rights.
So easy registration could be like
yes, assurance of vaccinated rights. Assurance of no cancellation or confirmed rights. Rather than saying no cancellation, is confirmed rights. Okay.
Assurance of safety.
Yes, assurance of safety. Safety. Okay.
Cost effective.
Oh, okay. Cost effective may become in the payment. Let's see. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. What could be the negative or neutral for registration or for the finding available rights?
lengthy registration in steps, multiple IDs, maybe multiple steps, multiple pages.
Lengthy registration process, ID verification. Okay.
So maybe not willing to share the personal details.
Do I need to share my personal details? Okay. And finding the available right.
Sorry. Yeah.
Waiting time.
Yes.
Satish, ride's personal details should be shared because otherwise the driver can't call back and
Maybe we can provide calling the
through the
functionality
app.
within the
Okay.
app. Yeah.
Yeah.
So personal details in the sense sometimes if they ask for, I mean, few people, they don't believe adding their debit or credit card into the riding app. So that is also kind of whether they're okay to share.
Yes. Yeah. Okay.
So if the app is not application friendly, device friendly.
Yeah. If it is not there in Android or Google Play Store.
The app is available on iOS.
I think that should come under registration login, Satish.
Registration login. Okay. Yes. Okay. Anything
But
else?
how it
Yeah, you
would be
can also
neutral?
join and add the points directly as well, right? So that will save some time. Yes. Yeah.
Canceling a ride will not come into this customer journey because passenger can.
Canceling the ride. Yes, yes, yes. So before confirming the ride, we can add that.
Okay. Yeah.
Right? Cancel the ride. Yes. Is there any penalty for cancellation? Right? How
Waiting time?
soon do I need to cancel?
On the positives, is the app flexible enough to reschedule my ride?
Allowing to reschedule instead of cancel. Okay.
Waiting time.
So, Satish, how is cancel prior to confirming the ride? Means in terms of steps, if you are mentioning.
Okay. So when I'm trying to find the available rides, that information might already started. We might already start sharing the information that hey, one of the customer is trying to locate the ride in your nearby location, right? Or maybe if you want to swap, yes, we can do that. Let's see. Okay. Okay. Yeah, I will change that order. Yeah. Okay.
Satish, under neutral, can't stop the car for snack or tea break compared to. I mean, it's if it's a personal vehicle, we can do that, right? So this is, I mean, practically speaking, though it's a professional sharing, right? So we can't stop. She knows, but she can't feel that as a negative, right? Because it's the criteria. I don't know whether I make sense.
Yes.
Depends upon category of passengers. If they all
Oh,
want a break.
Yes. That's why I'm saying not negative or positive, neutral. And the other neutral could be, I'm sorry.
Yes. Yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah, and the other neutral could be can't take family or person, as Savita or someone said, like can't accommodate family members. It's a professional thing. Like we have to accommodate. It has to be neutral, right?
No, the passengers should be apart
Sometimes
from.
I might not log in if I want one of my friend to travel along. I might not opt for this app. So that can be a negative as well.
Yes. Yeah, then let's add it as well.
Okay. How about snack break, Savita? Negative or neutral?
I believe all the snacks will be completed at home or to the destination, not in between, I guess. So you're talking about Uber Eats, I guess. In
Oh
between,
no.
parceling the thing in between so that by the time you reach the destination, you'll have the food.
How about luggage or baggage limit? Means usually what happens in Bangalore is on Fridays people carry a lot of stuff and they travel from their workplaces to if they are living close by places, right? They're taking train journeys or anything. So
okay, so we're adding it as a neutral. Yeah, maybe regular days might not be fine, but
compromise.
Okay, the negative.
And sometimes app not showing where is the driver, the correct because of the network issues. It shows 10 minutes, but they don't turn up even after 20 minutes.
And also,
I think so. That's a
clicking-
technical bug.
Yes, exactly.
We will add it as an opportunity, right?
Yeah, because it goes as
The
a
right details
passenger. I will be very concerned if I
constantly
get, sorry.
updated and shared on the app. Less than 1 second, right?
And
Every second.
app is selecting a wrong pickup location. Maybe instead of pointing to the person's office, maybe it's pointing to the office that's next to the work location, or maybe the next street or things like that.
Yeah, it always happens that if I'm inside the office, it will show the other office instead of my office.
Next road. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So that will come by finding the rights, right? Okay.
For finishing the ride, I may want to drop off in between. So let's say I remember I have to purchase something, so I want to, get down at some other location than intended.
Okay. So what is that, Shita? Can you go again? Finishing the ride?
Yeah, in finishing the ride, I may want to drop off in between. So that that should automatically adjust my ride accordingly.
Allowing to revise the drop location.
Drop location.
Do I need to pay full fare? Right? Any extra charges for revising the drop location? Yeah, maybe. Right? Okay. So allowing the customers to update or revise the drop location with driver's consent. Right. So the update is if the driver is going north, if the customer all of a sudden wants to say I want to go south, no. With the driver's consent, we should allow. So that
But
what are the points?
As a passenger, Satish, sorry to interrupt. As a passenger, I don't think so. Driver consent is required because I'll be paying for my ride. So basically,
yes, exactly. But
so reaching from one destination to the other destination, if he is not comfortable, he will charge the same repair. I don't think so. The consent is required.
That the reason why I listed as an opportunity available is we need to see how we should implement. Right. See, if it is dropping on the way en route, yes, we can allow. Or extending the same route, yes, we can allow. Or what if, like, let's suppose, like, I'm the corporate driver, right, John. So I know my office, right? So I can drop someone throughout the route or until my office. I don't want to extend and go a next 2-3 routes down the line or to the next area locality and come back. I might be late for my office. Right? Maybe if that is the reason, we might want to take the driver's consent. Right? So all the pointers which are listed in the opportunities available is we need to brainstorm again and we need to see how we should bring it into the implementation. Right? See, as we are discussing, these are some of the pointers we haven't thought in the personas. But now, as we start listing on the journey map, we started bringing up this, oh, okay, the GPS location, what about the GPS location? What about the updating or revising the drop location? How to do the payments, right? So these are the things, like as we keep on discussing, we might be getting more further pointers as well.
Agree with that. So getting into the detail, yes.
Yes. So now we are starting to see what's the improvements or what's the solution, what we can try to bring in from the actual end user implementation perspective. Right? And again, So here, if we say no other passengers apart from confirmed passengers, that we can add it as another opportunity available, right? So ability to choose how many passengers per ride, right? So yeah, let's discuss or let's think on see how we can implement it or how we want to, whether we want to implement it or not, and if so, when, by when, whether it is first release or first version, second version, third version, or how we want to get it to the implementation.
Maybe children from school, pick up children from school.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right. So the luggage as well we discussed, right? So again, when we say the confirmed ride, we need to see luggage details or limitations or any additional pointers like that, right? So again, even if it is a personal vehicle, the hatchback vehicle can carry more luggage when compared to a regular vehicle, right? So if the co-passenger is bringing a heavy suitcase, right? If my trunk is already full or don't have enough space, where can I accommodate the luggage, right? So like that, we can start going in detail into this, right? How quickly we can reallocate another driver to confirm the ride, right? This is one of the point from group 2, right? So yes, the cancellation dropping can happen any point of time, even if it is a scheduled ride, even if it is a personal vehicle driver. What if like he is sick, or what if he is has some other plans, or what if he had been asked to work from home for that day, given day, or he may be going for some other time slot. So in that case, how quickly we can reallocate another driver to confirm the ride, right? Along with the reschedule option. If in case a driver cancels or reschedule, from the customer perspective, how quickly we can reallocate another driver, right? Okay. Yes, Aditya, I will be sharing the recording. Yes, it's already 11:03. Oh, sorry, 11:04. So, maybe are we good to take a break now for the session? We got the context of how the personas, the customer journey map, we can bring into context.
So Satish, how long do you think it will take us more?
The release planning will take again another 30 minutes, 30-40 minutes for sure. Right. So we will continue in the next discussion and we will see based upon the journey maps or the personas how we can start working on the release map, release planning as well.
So are we good for 5-minute break, everyone?
Sorry, Shipra.
So you are planning for a 5-minute break? Or
No, we'll wrap up the session. It's already 11. Yeah,
okay.
because I have tomorrow morning one more session which I need to go.
Okay. Okay, sure.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
Our next session was scheduled for March 2, right? And
April 9. April 9.
Yeah, so you'll reschedule that.
Yes.
Okay.
So quickly give the feedback for the today's discussion and see how it is.
And Satish, in real time, this initiative that you're driving is expected ideally from a product owner or a Scrum Master or anyone from the team?
Scrum Master or the team might not be taking part in the discussion. Scrum Master or even not sure whether they would be facilitating these discussions, but the product management, the agile coaches, the product owners, product management, business folks, architects, they will be involved from the organization perspective, right? So mostly the engineering leaders or the directors or someone might be taking part in the driving the discussion. Right? Might not be the Scrum Masters, but the agile coaches or the executives, leaders, or someone will be driving the discussion. The participants will be the business owners, the architects, the product owners, product management.
Okay.
Thanks, Satish. It was a really good session. Time just flew by.
Sure. Thank you. And let's see what the pointers feedback. Thank you.
May I?
How effective today's session is, and the last question is like, what could be the improvement for the next topics or the next session? We know we ran short of time. We planned 3 topics, but we completed only 2. You know that. But let's see.
Sir, may I?
Sure.
Yeah, it was a wonderful session, sir. There were so many learnings from me as far as the fresher is concerned. So like one question I do have, can I ask over here?
Sure. Maybe let me stop recording. We can,